Every time I walk through Vienna, I get reminded of one thing. Tbilisi is sitting on an unbelievable amount of hidden real estate value. Not in glass towers, not in shiny developments, but inside old buildings most people are too scared, too impatient, too inexperienced to touch. Honestly, I understand why. Because heritage and renovations in Tbilisi can either make you wealthy or mentally destroy you. Today, I want to talk about the real pros and cons of heritage renovations in Tbilisi in 2026 from the perspective of someone who's actually been inside the chaos. So let's talk about why people fall in love with heritage buildings. The first time most foreigners walk through districts like Sololaki, Metatsminda, Chukureti, or Old Tbilisi, they feel something. You know, the wooden balconies, the staircases, the ceiling heights, the old textures, the imperfections. These buildings also have soul. Modern developers can build thousands of apartments, but nobody can create a 120-year-old entrance with hand-carved details and history inside the walls. That's the magic. And that's why people keep coming back to heritage real estate all over the world. In a world where cities are becoming more generic, character becomes valuable. Now, the investment opportunity here, what is it? Financially, I understand why investors get excited. Sometimes these properties still trade below what they should be worth. In Tbilisi, if you look beyond your typical useless agents with no investment experience, perhaps look for yourself. Maybe you want to check actively or ask our company to help you. Then you can find underutilized layouts, neglected apartments, divided units, forgotten commercial spaces, entire floors needing repositioning. And if you execute correctly, you can transform them into boutique hotels, luxury Airbnb units, creative offices, student housings, premium rentals, even branded hospitality concepts. The upside can be massive. And there's another thing people underestimate: emotional pricing. People pay differently for properties that make them feel something. A modern white box apartment competes with thousands of other white boxes. A properly renovated heritage apartment, that becomes an experience. Now let's talk about the reality. You open one wall and suddenly you discover ancient pipes, weak structure, moisture, electrical disasters, uneven floors, hidden damage, leaks from neighbors, staircases nobody maintained for 40 years, the neighbors, the ownership disputes, the approvals, the bureaucracy, the contractor who disappears for 3 days because his cousin got married. On paper, heritage renovations look romantic. In reality, sometimes you're negotiating with ghosts, with neighbors, Soviet plumbing simultaneously. And the renovation budget you calculate in your head, double it, and then add emotional damage. Let's talk about why most investors fail. Most people fail or ultimately overspend in heritage projects because they underestimate three things, time, cash reserves, and emotional endurance. These projects punish people who need quick returns. So if your entire financial stability depends on one renovation finishing perfectly and on time, you're playing a dangerous game. Delays happen here. Unexpected structural costs happen. It's heritage buildings. Permit issues happen. Contractor problems happen. Miscalculations. And sometimes the building itself reveals surprises one layer at a time, like a horror movie. Now this is where Vienna becomes interesting. Look around. This city understood something important a very long time ago. Preservation creates identity, and identity creates culture, and culture creates demand. And demand creates long-term real estate value. People don't fly across the world to look at random glass buildings. They come for the atmosphere, character, walkability, beauty, history. And Tbilisi still has that opportunity. That's what makes it exciting. I was walking down Vienna with my mother, and her and my father met in Vienna 35 years ago in the real estate business. They were buying apartments, then even apartment buildings, partnering with banks back when the currency was shilling, renovating them, then selling them. And one thing she told me was that Vienna was beautiful, but not at all like what you see today. Back then, the city was so quiet. You wouldn't even believe it. The buildings were very old looking. Only 10% of them were like what the Vienna you see today. Fast forward today, you see the entire city of Vienna so beautiful, so vibrant. You'll get Tartaria conspiracies flooding around saying a superior ancient civilization built it. But no, my mother's 74 now, God bless her, seen the before and after. And it was the Viennese real estate pioneers, not Tartaria, that built Vienna. What Tbilisi must be careful about? I think one of the biggest mistakes cities can make is demolishing too much too quickly. Because once architectural identity disappears, it rarely comes back. You can always build new towers later, right? But once old streets lose their soul, it's gone. And this doesn't mean every old building should be preserved blindly. All right, some buildings are beyond saving. Some renovations make no financial sense, but the best cities in the world understand balance. Now let's talk about who should invest in heritage projects. So who are the heritage renovations actually good for? In my opinion, they're good for patient investors, long-term holders, operators, boutique hospitality people, aesthetic-focused developers, people who understand branding and experience. And well, you ask me who should avoid them. Honestly, impatient investors, people needing immediate cash flow, first-time renovators, people who hate uncertainty, because these projects are emotional marathons. And my personal reflection is the older I get, the more I realize real estate isn't just about numbers. Some properties produce yield, some properties produce identity, and heritage buildings, when done correctly, can become part of the identity of a city itself. That's why I think some of the most valuable real estate opportunities in Tbilisi over the next decade may not be the tallest towers, but the thoughtful restoration of what already exists. Vienna already became Vienna, right? To close this off. But Tbilisi is still deciding what it wants to become. And honestly, that's what makes it one of the most interesting real estate markets in Europe. If you enjoyed watching this kind of real estate perspective, subscribe to my channel. It's Sana Sanani, and I'll see you in the next one.